When we teach screen printing experience classes throughout the country, we ask the aspiring screen printers there to learn, what kind of shirts are you wearing? And I think this is true for not only the screen printers at the class, but the majority of the public. The answer is the majority of the shirts being worn out there are simple 1 to 2 color, spot color, vector artwork, like you see here, this face grabber shirt by Fingers Duke in Bellingham, Washington, which is pretty awesome. But instead of this shirt, these vector artworks and these spot color artworks are on darker garments. And since printing opaque color on darker garments are so important in screen printing, we're going to cover that in this video. We'll show you how to use Ryonet's line of Wilflex's Lava Plastisol inks to print opaque prints onto dark garments without the need of a white underbase. This means you can save time and money in screens and setup and still get a great looking print. Let's first take a look at what's under the lid with Wilflex's Epic Lava inks to enable us to do this, and then jump on press to show it in action. We worked closely with Wilflex to create a unique line of Lava Plastisol ink that's opaque, but still flows through the screen, is easy to print, and feels great on the shirt. Wilflex's advanced manufacturing capabilities and brand reputation for making the highest quality Plastisol inks have made them a great partner in this project, and they knocked it out of the park. The result is an ink that's nice and vibrant in the bucket, stirs well, and as you'll see soon, prints great. And that's the same for the over 20 colors in the line. For this design, we're going to be printing on an all-made black 100% US cotton shirt and using the Ryonet new logo mark with red for the R and the outline with our light blue. For screen printing opaque lava color on black garments, it's very similar to screen printing white ink on a black garment. You want a tight mesh screen. We're going to be using a mesh that's about 25 newtons or plus. These are brand new screens. You also want mesh ranging about 110, which is what we're going to be printing this inner fill red with, to 156, which is what we're going to be using on the outline. As far as emulsion stencil, we're using our CryoCoat emulsion, which is a little bit thicker stencil. We did a 2/1 coating method, giving us a little higher EOM, emulsion over mesh right there. You want a good stencil to build a good ink deposit. If your stencil's too thin, it won't allow enough ink to build up in the mesh, and your print will not be as opaque. The great thing about screen printing this way is we can flash print directly to fabric without the need of this white underbase. Now, because we're going directly to fabric, we do want good off contact as well as good tension, of course, so we're using about 1/8 inch off contact for these screens. First, we want to load a good amount of lava ink into the back of the screen. We're going to start out with our light blue first. As you can see, once lava gets flowing, it has excellent thixotropic properties that allow it to flow through the mesh. For our squeegee, we're going to be using a 70 drummer squeegee with a nice sharp edge. This is a newer squeegee. We don't want too hard of a squeegee, but we also don't want too soft of a squeegee. Before we print, we want to load a good amount of ink into the stencil. So you do want to flood your stencil, make sure it has a good amount of ink. Then when we're printing, our angle is going to be right about a 75 or so degree angle, not too low, not too high, very similar to like the white ink videos that you're going to see on our YouTube channel. You want to basically skim the ink up on top of the shirt, allowing enough pressure to release it from the screen. This is why tight tension screen is important. If we have too high of an angle, it's going to drive it into the mesh. If we have too much pressure, it's going to drive it into the mesh and into the shirt. So right now we're using a medium angle and a good amount of pressure to release the ink. And then medium print speed too. Nice thing about lava inks is you can go a little bit faster on your print speeds because they do flow so good with those thixotropic properties. And that ink definitely released very, very well from that mesh. This is the 156 mesh screen. And then one more, we're gonna be doing a double hit on each of these colors for the first pass. Came out looking great, no ink left in the stencil. Load it back up. So that's our first print. Nice and bright and opaque, even with just 2 passes without even a flash. So we'll go ahead and flash this and then on to the second print. For a lava ink, we do want to flash pretty quickly and make sure the ink is still tacky, not cured all the way. It does flash fast, so make sure not to over flash it. Typically 5-6 seconds depending on the power of your flash dryer. Here's the second pass on the outline. 1 pass on the second pass because we already have a good base built. Nice and bright. Flash, and then we'll do the infill. We're doing the inside of the print next because it is a brighter color, needs a little bit more opacity. Same kind of theory, same angle, same print stroke. This is a 110 mesh, however, so you're gonna see a little bit more ink flowing through. 2 passes on the front, quick flash. The reason why we're doing the inside first, once again, is because it is a brighter color. It needs to be a little bit more opaque. The red is a little bit typically harder to be opaque because it is a little bit more brighter. Then we'll flash that, come back. That's perfect, and then do 1 pass, flood, and then 1 pass for the overprint. Just make sure we got a good transfer there. And there we have it. Now let's take a look at the final print, which I think came out looking pretty good. It's nice and smooth. Now the fiber's down well. Also, bright red, bright blue, looks good. Customer would probably go for this. However, now let's compare it against a print, the same print, with a white underbase screen. So this was print, flash, print, print, flash, print. So we had 2 screens. This print over here that we'll compare it to has 3 screens. Now, this is the bright blue and the red with the white underbase. And as you can tell, it is slightly brighter, but not that big of a difference, maybe 10% brighter. Color will always look best with a white base underneath it because color always looks best on white. So that's with the white underbase. Once again, 3 screens. This is direct to fabric. Once again, 2 screens. And it kind of depends on what your customer goes for and also how much time you want to spend on the print. So if you show the customer this and they love it, then you go and print with just 2 screens. If they want something a little bit brighter, you always have the option to adding the 3rd screen and then doing a white underbase, which once again takes a little bit longer to register, a little bit longer to set up. Lava cures at 320 to 325 degrees. Make sure you cure through the entire ink layer. So if you're using flash dryer, separate your shirt from your palette before doing the cure. If you're using conveyor dryer, make sure you're temping and getting that ink a little bit higher on the surface so it cures fully through the ink layer. Once again, direct to fabric printing will cure even faster than printing on underbase because you typically have a little bit thinner layer of ink. And the best part about Lava is it not only prints great and looks great on the shirt, but it also feels a little bit better because we formulated it with a little bit more of a suede feel. Make screen printing easy and get great looking prints that feel great too with Ryonet's new line of Lava Plastisol inks made for us exclusively by Wilflex. Check them out at screenprinting.com and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great screen printing videos.